Hi, a very good day to our Madam, Dr. Nora. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. I am Abineshwary, and together with me, my teammate, Banupriya. So, the survey title that we have chosen for this assignment, for both assignment 1 and assignment 2, is Financial Literacy Among Young Working Adults and Students. The purpose or the objective of the survey is to understand the impact of budget levels on spending habits among young working adults and students. The input will help to provide valuable insights into financial literacy within this group of people. All right. So in our assignment 1, we actually had gathered a lot of information from these young working adults and students on both qualitative and quantitative data. But the data that we are going to use for assignment 2 are quantitative data. So the first question that we have asked both young working adults and students are on their monthly savings amount. As we can see on the diagram or the table that we have provided here, about 14 people have chosen 0% to 10% of savings amount out of their income. And next, about 20 people have chosen 10 to 20% of savings amount. 1 have chosen 20 to 30, and 4 have chosen 30 to 40%, and 3 people have chosen 40 to 50% of monthly income, monthly savings out of their monthly income. So as we can see, the histogram chart that we have drawn, the x-axis is on the class boundaries, which represents saving percentage, and y-axis is the frequency, which shows the number of individuals in savings range. All right, so the graph features that we have drawn are bars represent class frequencies. Every bar, it represents on the class frequency, and the polygon line, which we have drawn in between over the bars for visual trend tracking. Okay, and the trend observation from this histogram is most young working adults and students save less than 20% of their income, and very few save more than 30% of their income. So the overall data is right skewed, showing fewer people save larger portion. And next is OGIF. And this graph, as we can see, the table is regarding non-essential expenses among young working adults and students. And this table that we have drawn here, it is on how much they spend on monthly basis by both the working adults and students. About 10 people have chosen 0 ringgit to 100 ringgit monthly, and about 23 have chosen 100 ringgit to 400 ringgit, and about 7 have chosen 400 to 700, and 2 have chosen 700 to 1000, and 0 have chosen 1000 ringgit to 2000 from their monthly income on expenses. All right, so as we can see, this cumulative frequency. So to talk on that, the first thing is on the class intervals. We have chosen ranges from 0 ringgit up till 2000, which we have divided into 5 classes. And the frequency shows which are the number of working adults and students on how many individuals fall into each expense range. And the cumulative frequency, which is the last box on the table, is on the total number of individuals who spend up upon a certain amount. And the class boundaries, the blue color box, is adjusted to prevent gaps between intervals for accurate graphing. So as we can see on the graph provided on non-essential expenses, the x-axis is on the upper class boundaries and y-axis is the cumulative frequency. So as you can see, the shape of the line or the graph is very steep increase initially and then flattens in the last part, which indicates most spend is below 700 ringgit. So that is all from me. And now I would like to pass it to Banu.
Hello, Banu. Hello, Madam Banu here. So today I'm going to present about critical thinking applications and also the overall about this histogram and OGIF. So by using critical by saying critical thinking based on my point of view, instead I was just looking at the number in tables. Using a histogram gives a quick and clear view of how savings are distributed. For example, we notice that most people save between 10% to 20% of their income. This shows a trend of modest savings habit. Like Instagram also reveals gaps and outliner. Very few people save above 30%, and also surprisingly, the 20 to 30% range had very low representation. When it comes to OGIF, on the other hand, it's a cumulative graph that shows on how non-essential spending habits build up across individuals. It helps us to quickly find a median, quartile, and overall speed. This is useful to see how many people spend below certain amount, giving us insight into general spending behavior. These usual visual tools are helpful beyond finance. For example, in the school settings, similar graph could how should students should perform in the test, helping identify which group need extra support, followed by applications. In organizations, both mean and median are important tools. Like the median is more reliable when the data is outliner. It shows the typical value more accurately. For example, we are looking at typical monthly savings. The median is better measure. The mean, however, it is useful for understanding the overall average, especially when the data is evenly split. For instance, if the average non-essential spending is high, the organizations can respond by offering financial wellness program or budgeting workshops. So based on my point of view, the overall histogram and OGIF, in summary, the histogram shows that many young people save but not a large amount. Most fall in 10% to 20% range. A very few save more than 30%. It could be due to limited income or lack of financial awareness. For OGIF, reveals that 75% of individuals speed up to 360.50 cents on non-essential with median of 240. Some spend below 100 while others spend much more, showing a wide range of spending habit. This tells us that how people have different financial priorities and challenges. When look up the savings and spending together, we see the potential imbalance, low savings but moderate high spending. This insight is valuable for universities, companies, and policymakers to create programs that promote better financial habits like saving regularly and managing speed wisely. Use graphs like histogram and OGIF, not only data like easier to understand, but also help us to make meaningful action. By visualizing the financial trends, we can target the right group or offer the right kind of support to help us like young people to make better financial decisions. So that's all about critical thinking, analyzing and also conclusions. So thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.